Hey everyone, it's Froggy, and I'm back again with another episode of C14 Dating, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start. Oh, chocolate hazelnut, you're worth the extra insulin. When I was done, I rolled the bread up and bit the end, my mouth glued shut as I chewed, while the spread smeared in my cheek. Glad I was eating breakfast alone. I was being sloppy. Bonjour? Huh? Someone lightly pecked me on the cheek. The person immediately pulled back, and I hastily rubbed my face while he did the same. DeAndre, I was stuffing my face. At least warn me next time before you kiss me.
I could say the same.
What was with the kiss anyway?
It's how we greet friends. Usually the cheek kissing goes a little smoother than this one.
He eyed my breakfast and snorted teasingly.
Cute, Mel.
Hey, I wasn't expecting anyone to arrive so soon. Did you drive here?
We took the train. It only stops here every half an hour, so you either arrive early or slightly late.
Before I could question the we, DeAndre tapped the side of his cheek.
You still have some...
You too.
Still? Did you dunk your face into...
I did not. Your timing was just atrocious. While we were both cleaning ourselves, I noticed Kyler observing us with a deadpan expression. He frowned in disgust and disappeared around the corner with his belongings. DeAndre sighed, rubbing his temples like he had an impending headache.
I don't think he likes me.
Something happened?
Well, do you remember that rowdy night?
Vaguely.
Well, after you went to bed, a bunch of us started playing catch. I may or may not have nailed Kyler in the head with the ball.
Was he okay?
Yeah, he was fine, if upset. I tried to apologize, but he wouldn't hear of it. Now he probably thought I was shamelessly flirting with you like some full-time playboy.
Oh, you aren't?
Part-time. Kyler seems to be the type where first impressions are everything.
I think you're right. He seemed to tolerate me once he learned I was serious about archaeology.
Oh yeah, you two work in the same location.
About the ball incident. Volunteer to talk to Kyler, ask if DeAndre will talk to Kyler.
He should probably talk to him, I guess.
Are you still gonna apologize?
I'll try. Not many opportunities to talk to the guy.
Still, it was an accident. I wonder why he reacted like that.
I think because it could have damaged the device he wears.
Ah, that makes sense. Hope he'll forgive you now. A few other students trickled in, and I finished my breakfast before there were any more mishaps.
Anyway, where did you stay this weekend?
I furiously chewed my oversized portion, but DeAndre flashed me a patient, I'll wait smile. Coughing, I simply tapped the table since I couldn't talk.
Here? How was it?
I survived. When a car pulled in, I knew Augustine and Sherry had arrived. I waved to them as they got out, although inwardly I wanted to wind Augustine about the whole ghost thing. After Sherry and I greeted each other, she handed my journal back. Be sure to read the comments in the journal when you have time. It'll give you an idea of how you're performing. Thank you, I will. Also, since this is your second week here, you now have the option to pick lab work if you'd like. Oh, right! I'll notify Hendrik. He handles the Lab 101 here and can explain the procedures to you. Nice. It seems my options have opened up.
I think we were already able to, though, so...
There sure are a lot of stuff and tools here. I perked up as Hendrik tapped the whiteboard with his prosthetic fingers, his speech continuing in French. His lecture was occasionally interrupted with polite giggles or groans, and he would grin at the reactions. Hendrik loved to deliver puns in any language I mused. Once the explanation wrapped up, people collected plastic bags, each with a sheet inside. Some barely contained any materials, while others had huge bones encased in tinfoil. I grabbed a decently sized one with mostly smaller items and fished out the fichier along with a wrapped item.
Is this your first time doing lab work?
Yes, Sherry's gone over the procedures with a slide presentation, but it's different seeing it all up close.
If you'd like, I can clarify a few things. I thought it'd be easier to do a little one-on-one instead of repeating myself in both languages and taking up more time.
Really? Then
Let's ask everything. So, what do we do essentially?
can you break down the lab process in its simplest form?
Clean objects, document them, repeat.
That's it?
That's it.
That was sure short and sweet.
When you've worked with many students verifying degrees of interest in archaeology, it helps to be concise. It's my own take on the KISS principle. Keep it simple for student.
Okay, how to clean the items. There's so many tools used to clean. What's the general routine? He leaned over the counter and pointed to the plastic bowl with a sieve placed over it.
Depending on how dirty the item is, use this to wash the majority of the soil off. If it's a bone, please don't let it stay submerged for too long or it'll become saturated. It will end up damaging the object, especially if it's already cracked or flaking. Other times, you need to dunk a brush into the water if you're only cleaning a small section. Be sure to dry it thoroughly using a paper towel or lint-free cloth. Whether you use that step or not, it's on to using brushes and craft sticks.
I know about brushes, but craft sticks?
They're great for scraping muck off without scratching the remains. I'm partial to craft sticks myself, but everyone has their own preferences. If you use a brush, be gentle and don't scrub too hard. And there are toothpicks, which are useful for cleaning teeth or porous items. If the object is relatively clean to begin with and doesn't need water, you can simply brush off the dirt. Be careful though. Some bones are too fragile to wash or clean. Use your judgment. There'll be a little trial and error at first, but you'll get the hang of it. Don't worry, I won't get upset if a bone falls apart.
Says the geologist. What if I drop a rock?
Handle those with extreme care, please.
I will, promise. Why a nib pen? I picked up the ink bottle and gave him an uncertain look. Why these? It looks like it'll be a messy process, and I've never used a nib pen before.
It stays on the bone or stone better than a regular ink pen, regardless of the surface, and you have better control over the writing. I'm terrible at describing how to use one. I think if you hold it slightly lower than a regular pen and lightly pull, the ink should flow out evenly. Obviously, don't dunk the nib into the ink bottle like cookies and milk. Also, follow the number style I've written on the board.
I turned my head, studying the 1 to 9 that went down in a vertical column. The 3 was flat at the top, and the 7 had an extra line in the middle of it. The 1 had a little hook at the top with a foundation. Is that to keep everything more consistent?
That, and we don't panic if a number fades. See?
He approached the board and wrote a bubbly 8. He then wiped off half of it, turning it into a 3.
This is why. Same with a 7. If we lose part of it, we won't mistake it for a 1 due to the line in the middle. It's extremely important to be able to identify its number. When you're done jotting down the fichet number and year, don't forget to coat it with a thin layer of clear nail polish to protect the ink. Make sure you let the ink dry first or it'll become all blurry.
What happens if I mess up? I have a feeling whiteout won't help here.
Then this is the fun part. You can use the nib to scrape off the ink. I don't recommend using it multiple times over the same surface though, and then you'll end up destroying the very item we're trying to preserve.
What if the object is impossible to write on due to its size?
Then place it in a tray cup along with the written piece of paper that came with it. Although try your best to write in a partial line since it's possible to lose the paper over time. Please write neatly so I don't end up cursing your name next year when I get around to them. Go over the tools.
Can you sum up each tool and its uses for me? Sorry if there's overlap.
It's fine. It's important to clarify. There's the water, the sieve, and the bowl for washing. Other instruments include brushes of various size, craft sticks, toothpicks, cloth, and paper towels for drying. And when it's all written down and coated with nail polish, you can drop the items in the cups set up on the trays over there.
He pointed to a row upon row of wooden trays, each with cups super glued to the surface. Some had bigger containers for the obviously larger objects too.
That way, they'll dry out in the sun. I'll take care of everything when the lab work is done, so you don't have to worry about the rest.
Okay, any other tips you can think of? Any tricks or tips you can think of off the top of your head?
Other than what I've told you? Just be gentle and use your best judgment. Don't mix up the items, please, and be sure to clean up the utensils when you're all done.
And don't these things get contaminated? Isn't it harder to extract DNA after you wash them? Plus, we're touching with our bare hands.
Even just breathing while you're digging contaminates exposed materials. It's virtually impossible to avoid tainting samples unless you catch it early while excavating. We'd rather have items clean so we can identify their morphology or possible Neanderthal manipulation of these items.
Like?
Burnt bones, cuts and bones from flint, tool manufacturing. The stuff I hope avoided ending up in the wet screening process and has its context marked and identified on the document.
And that's it. I think I got everything. Thanks for the help, Hendrik.
Geen probleem. I don't know what that means. I'll mostly be helping out in the lab, working alongside the other students.
Hendrik?
Need help with anything?
Could you supervise my first cleaning?
Of course. I know lab work can be tough.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos from me, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.